tonight at I think like 11 p.m., it's going to be the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. And I ain't going to waste any time. My money is on Mike Tyson, and I'm going to explain why. I don't bet based on who I think is going to be the best fighter. Jake Paul's 27. He's got some height on Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson he's 60, isn't he? I think Mike Tyson is 60. I want to make sure because I think people might be. I want to make sure they're not rounding up. Mike Tyson is 58 years old, so he's not quite 60. That's right. People are rounding up. And everybody's saying Jake Paul is going to win. So first, here's the update. Mike Tyson slapped Jake Paul in the face, and everybody was kind of happy that he did. Guys, it's all for show, okay? I don't believe for a second it's real. So here's the video. They're at the weigh-in, and check us out. That's a real slap. That's a real slap. I think it's staged. It's all for show. And I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. So apparently, Jake Paul, what are they saying? He steps on Mike Tyson's foot. Let me see if we can show this. Get that sound back. So I guess that's what they're saying. They say Mike Tyson revealed that he slapped Jake Paul on Thursday because he stepped on his toe as the pair faced off, so he slapped him back. During the event, just 24 hours before the fight in the ring, Tyson stunned onlookers when he suddenly struck Paul at the Toyota Music Factory in Las Colinas. So let's take a look at the odds right now, my friends. We got this from Sportsbook Review. Jake Paul's the favorite because he's 27 and he's taller than Mike Tyson. I think what they're saying is that he's 1 pound shy of Tyson, so he's been bulking up. I want to say this. Jake Paul, I am deeply impressed by Jake Paul. I think Logan Paul of the Paul brothers, I'm a bigger fan of Logan. Logan said a lot of things about hard work, success, and these are young guys who built something massive, and I have tremendous respect for these guys. Jake Paul's a bit of the wild child. This fight is going to be epic, and it's going to be tonight, and I'm going to be watching it, and I'm going to tell you right now, I got my money on Mike Tyson. No joke. Not a big bet, but I got a bet. I'm not betting like Dave Portnoy or nothing like this, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think for a second Mike Tyson loses. It has nothing to do with age, skill, or anything. It has everything to do with the story that they will tell. Let me first read you a little bit of the news before I explain to you about that story, the marketing narrative, and what's going to make for good business. CNN says, lumber hate him, the world continues to watch Jake Paul, the former YouTuber and Disney star, who's taken over social media since switching to boxing in 2020. 27-year-old has accumulated a professional 10-1 record. That's amazing. With 7 wins coming by way of knockouts. On Friday, Paul steps into the ring with perhaps the most high-profile fight to date against former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. I think I will knock him out in the 5th or 6th round, Paul said in an interview with CNN. I love Mike, but I have to handle business. The pair originally scheduled to fight in July this year, but it was postponed when Tyson experienced an ulcer flare-up on a flight. The main card event for Friday's event, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, will begin at 8:30 p.m. with the bout between Tyson and Paul, which takes place over 8 rounds of 2 minutes, expected to begin at 11 p.m. It will be free to watch with a Netflix subscription. I love how they say that. Free to watch if you've got Netflix, which you pay for. Although Paul is slightly favored to win, the combat sports community has been divided over the idea of the fight. For one, Eddie Hearn, the Matchroom CEO and one of the biggest promoters in the sport, has been heavily critical. Tyson is 58 years old. I find it very sad, but it's a big event. I understand people are going to watch it. It's entertainment, I guess. But for someone who idolized the guy growing up, not the best day. British promoter Hearn represents boxing superstars Canelo Alvarez, Alexander Usyk, and Dimitri Bivol. He also presents Katie Taylor, who is fighting on the undercard for Paul v. Tyson. On the other hand, former heavyweight world champion and one of Hearn's clients, Anthony Joshua, has a very different opinion. I personally think it looks really good. I think that the boxing hardcores, the boxing fanatics, they don't like it because it's like, why are they disrespecting our sport? Let's say we divided this crowd in half and you have half the people that are hardcore boxing fans and half of the people that love a certain YouTuber, but that person brings all these people into boxing, which benefits everyone else that's involved in the industry. Completely agree 100%. The only reason I'm watching it, I got to be honest, is because it's Jake Paul. And I mean it. And no disrespect to Mike Tyson, this is a spectacle fight that's got even people like me interested and excited to watch. Now we're going to be live at Timcast IRL tonight at 8, but we're wrapping at 10, and then we're turning on the big screen to watch the next fights. We're going to get pizza and wings, and this is going to be an amazing event I'm very excited for. That's why I say shout out to Jake Paul. It's also why I'm telling you he can't win. I know. He's not going to win. I will. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. They're going to say criticism has been leveled at Paul over the age gap. Tyson will be 31 years older than Paul. Although Tyson is the more experienced fighter, it's been decades since his reign in the ring. Paul, meanwhile, is entering his physical prime when it comes to age. Speaking to CNN, the former YouTuber said that his dream is to become a boxing world champ. But does fighting Tyson aged 58 help or hurt him in that quest? I think it helps going in there with one of the most ruthless and vicious champions has ever been and getting that experience under my belt. To be able to have a camp and go there under the bright lights against one of the greatest to ever do only help my experience level. As I continue to improve behind the scenes in each camp, the more I get in the sport, the more deadly I become. This is fantastic, okay? MMA has dramatically overtaken boxing. Boxing used to be so massive, and this is great. I think it's fantastic. They're going to mention Tyson's known for brutal knockouts. Let me give you my first general. Look at this. Look at this, man. Wow, this photo. I'm really not nervous, Paul said. I believe in my skill. I've improved tenfold in all aspects of my game. I think heavyweights are slow. They don't have a ton of boxing ability, and they can't get out of the way of punches. That's not Mike Tyson, dude. In there, I will be outboxing Mike. He's not going to be able to hit me because I'm not going to sit there like a lot of these heavyweights did throughout his career and try to exchange blows with him. Paul reiterates some of his criticism of Tyson at the weigh-in. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Tyson's going to win. First, let's talk about he's taller. I believe he's got bigger reach. He's younger, and he's been training heavily entering his prime. And he's going up against a guy who's nearly 58. The strategy, in my view, is going to be Mike Tyson's going to one-hit knock you out, bro. Like, no, even at 60 years old, a single punch from Mike Tyson will flatten you. Jake Paul's going to have to go for stamina. So I imagine he's going to try, like he said, dodging these hits. He can't take a hit. He's not going to stand there and take hits from Mike Tyson. He's going to try to use his stamina and agility to dodge blows and try and make it as long as possible. 5th or 6th round, he goes for the knockout. That's exactly what I expected his strategy to be because, like I said, Jake, you're great, but Mike Tyson, one hit and you're done. Now let's talk about the reality. Mike Tyson's going to win. You know why? My friends, I'm in the business of doing media, right? And I used to do marketing for nonprofits, sales, all that stuff. And let me tell you about the greatest story ever told. The idea that you are trying to build up a presence, you are trying to make money, and you want more events. Jake Paul is allowed to lose fights. He's a young guy with a good record. He's going to go on for a long time in his career of doing these big spectacle boxing events. Mike Tyson, it's over. He's the best, he's the legend, but he's 58. So right now he's doing these spectacle fights. He looks deadly in these training videos. It looks fantastic. Here's the narrative. Let me ask you this question. If Jake Paul if he wins a fight against a 58-year-old man, people are going to say, you have disrespected a legend. You have disrespected the sport. And who wants to watch a 27-year-old beat the crap out of an old man? Sorry, that narrative is not good. If Jake Paul does win this, media marketing narrative-wise, it's a bad pitch. If you came to me and said, Tim, we want to put on a big event where a young guy beats up an old guy, I'd be like, no one's going to want to watch that. That does not satisfy anybody. Let's talk about making a movie. You said, we're going to make a movie where it's an old guy who used to be the best, and he's training because he wants to relive his glory days. A young man steps up and says, I'll fight you, old man, and the old guy loses. Mike Tyson's the protagonist. Jake Paul's the antagonist. Jake Paul is the bad guy in Karate Kid, who actually was the good guy, but that's besides the point. Here's the narrative. Mike Tyson, 58 years old, well past his prime, goes up against Jake Paul with this tremendous record, who is sweeping into the scene with massive success. It's an amazing fight. Jake Paul goes 5-6 rounds, but then slips up. Tyson, boom, hits the final blow, knocks Jake Paul down. They call it. Jake Paul is like, man, Mike Tyson's the legend. I knew I'd never beat you. They hug. And then he says, I trained hard. I worked hard, but even the best of the best, I could not defeat. But I'll be back because I got more years to fight. If Mike Tyson wins, it is a massive story. It is a story of a legend's return to the ring. It brings back older boxing fans who are going to be like, you got it, man. You show that kid what's up. Jake Paul losing to Mike Tyson? Yo, let me tell you. I skateboard. When I lose a game of skate to a top pro, I'm just like, dude, that was awesome. Like, these guys have always been the best. The narrative is about, can they sell the next event? And if the story is young man beats old guy, who's going to want to watch the next fight? They're going to be like, oh, man. You know? So at first, I was going to put money on Jake Paul. I'm like, he's 27, dude. He's 27 years old. He's got height on Mike Tyson. Tyson may be great, but Jake Paul's young. And I thought about it. I think if it's a real match, maybe it is. I don't know. Jake Paul wins, but I don't think it's going to be a real match. Sorry, guys. No disrespect. I think we're looking at entertainment. There's going to be real hits. They're going to be punching each other. But I think Jake Paul pulls his punches a little bit, gives Mike the opportunity, and then in the last round, Mike Tyson takes it. I think Jake Paul throws the match. And Jake Paul's camp might get mad that I'm saying that. He's not going to throw the match. He's going to fight. I'm saying, dude, if we're talking about narrative and what will make a great story, which sells tickets, which makes money, it is the return of the king. It is Jake Paul, this arrogant young guy who says, I can beat Mike Tyson. He's 60 years old. He's lost. He's got nothing left. And Mike Tyson says, I'm going to teach you, young whippersnapper, what for. All those old school boxing fans are back in. All of Jake Paul's YouTube fans are in. They watch this. Jake Paul loses. Jake Paul is humble about it and says, I really thought that, Mike Tyson being older, I'd finally have an opportunity to take down a legend, but I was wrong. Mike Tyson is a legend, will always be a legend, and he's just too good. That's the narrative. Because if they take Mike Tyson and they make it a fall from grace, fighting at 58 and losing, I can't imagine that narrative for the boxing world. I just can't do it. I can't do it. So I put my money on Mike Tyson. I think he's going to win. I'm excited for you guys. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. The next segment will be 8 p.m. youtube.com/TimcastIRL. And we'll see y'all then.